There's a silent threshold in every man's life, a moment when he decides someone is worthy of stepping beyond his carefully maintained walls. It's not always obvious, and it rarely comes with grand announcements. Instead, it reveals itself in small, pivotal actions. An unguarded confession late at night, a spontaneous glimpse into his private passions, or even the confident way he sets aside his phone to give you his undivided attention. These moments may seem ordinary at first, but they carry an undeniable message. He's letting you in because you matter to him. It's easy to overlook these subtle gestures in a world that celebrates dramatic declarations and flashy proofs of affection. But the truth is, genuine closeness often emerges in quieter ways, when he opens up about certain aspects of his life. Insecurities he's never voiced, the unpolished reality of his day-to-day struggles, or even the long-term dreams he's barely begun to articulate. He's showing a rare side of himself that few will ever see. This quiet unveiling is more than just a sign of trust. It's a signal that says, I see you as someone extraordinary. In the face of constant societal pressures to appear invincible, many men opt to keep their vulnerabilities locked away, revealing only fragments of what truly shapes them. So when he shares something that feels intimate, even if it's cloaked in humor or delivered with a casual shrug, it's worth paying attention. Beneath that shrug might be a lifetime of doubt, hope, or aspiration he's not ready to publicize. And yet, he's chosen to share it with you because you've become his safe harbor. Many discussions around men's emotions tend to highlight the obvious markers of intimacy: meeting his family, talking about long-term plans, or wearing matching outfits to a fancy event. Let's push that conversation further. Real emotional revelation can look different than you might expect, and it's in these overlooked details where genuine bonds take root. 1. He reveals a personal failure he's never talked about before. It might be a past job loss, a broken friendship he regrets, or a risky venture that flopped. Men who are protective of their image typically hate admitting defeat. So when he entrusts you with a story that chips away at his strong and steady persona, it isn't just storytelling. It's an invitation into the messy part of his life that he usually hides. In that moment, he's allowing you to see how he processes disappointment, whether he's found lessons hidden within the struggle, and most importantly, whether he trusts you to handle the unfiltered truth. 2. He lets you see his quiet rituals. People often think personal time means big hobbies like going on epic hikes or playing in a sports league. But the real tell? The small rituals. Maybe he's meticulous about making pour-over coffee in the morning, or perhaps he journals in a battered notebook each night. If he shares these unassuming habits and even invites you to join, it's a concrete sign he values you enough to reveal the often guarded corners of his day. These micro-habits might not be Instagram-worthy, yet they're a genuine slice of who he is behind closed doors. 3. He brings up his fears without prompting. Talking about the future is one thing, but openly discussing fears is a whole different level. This kind of conversation typically happens in hushed tones. He might mention financial worries, the anxiety of not measuring up, or the dread of repeating an old mistake. If he initiates that conversation, or even hints at it, hoping you'll pick up on the thread, he's showing deep respect for your emotional intelligence. He's signaling that he trusts your reaction enough to expose the chinks in his armor. 4. He seeks your perspective on meaningful decisions. When a man starts involving you in his decision-making process, especially around personal or vulnerable matters, it's no casual gesture. Perhaps he asks you what you think about a job change he's considering, or he's curious how you'd handle a delicate situation with a close friend. These aren't hypothetical questions tossed out to fill silence. They're genuine attempts to integrate your viewpoint into his life. Men who value autonomy and personal authority don't typically ask for counsel unless they deeply respect the person on the receiving end. And respect, in this context, is practically synonymous with a growing sense of emotional investment. By inviting you to weigh in, he's acknowledging your intelligence and empathy. He's granting you partial ownership in the choices he makes. This doesn't mean he'll necessarily follow every piece of advice, but the very act of asking signals he's factoring your insight into the equation. It's a subtle yet powerful expression. You matter enough to shape my next steps. 5. He celebrates the small wins, and wants you there for the big moments. A hallmark of true closeness is the desire to share not just life's monumental occasions, but also the everyday victories. If he calls you first to celebrate a small promotion, an unexpectedly good day at work, or something as simple as hitting a personal fitness goal, it's a declaration that your presence amplifies his joy. The logic is straightforward. Sharing achievements with you, no matter the size, makes them feel more meaningful. But it doesn't stop there. Watch how he reacts in bigger moments. Whether it's tackling a long-term project or receiving an important accolade, he'll naturally want you in the spotlight with him. This isn't performative or transactional. Rather, he sees you as an essential part of the narrative he's building. If you find yourself getting invited into the celebrations that really matter, you can rest assured you've moved beyond a passing interest and into a more sacred, significant place in his life. 6. He values your emotional well-being as much as his own. Many assume that men, being conditioned to tough it out, focus on their own emotional survival first. But a key indicator of genuine affection is when he consistently checks in on your emotional landscape. Maybe he follows up after a hard day, curious not just about the facts, but about how you felt in the thick of it. Or he notices the subtle changes in your energy, how your voice sounds, the expression in your eyes, and acknowledges your mood before you even voice it. This goes beyond politeness. By attuning himself to your emotions, he's demonstrating that your well-being isn't an afterthought. In many ways, he's saying, "Your peace of mind matters to me, and I'm committed to being a stable force in your world." That deep empathy is a hallmark of emotional investment, a sign that you're no longer just a companion, but someone whose happiness he's actively invested in protecting. Number 7. He places authentic connection over winning an argument. Arguments happen. They're part of any healthy relationship dynamic. But a revealing question is, how does he approach conflict when it surfaces? If his primary motive is to win, he'll be defensive, dismissive, or uninterested in acknowledging your perspective. In contrast, a man who sees you as truly special will value authentic connection over personal victory. That means he's more likely to listen, to ask clarifying questions, and to show a genuine willingness to find common ground, even if it means admitting he's at fault. This approach speaks volumes about his emotional maturity and his respect for you. He's not vying for domination, he's safeguarding the bond you share. And that choice to protect unity rather than bolster his ego reveals a depth of care that can't be faked. 8. He wants you to experience his passions firsthand. Whether he's into restoring vintage cars, composing music, or hiking on weekend mornings, there's often a private space he retreats to for inspiration or relaxation. Inviting you to partake in that world, showing you how he tinkers with an engine, playing his unfinished songs for you, or taking you to his favorite hidden trail, isn't a casual move. These passions are an extension of his identity, the activities he cherishes when no one's looking. By sharing them with you, he's essentially saying, "I want you to understand who I am at my core." Even if you don't become an instant expert in his hobby, the very fact that he wants you involved signals a profound level of acceptance. It's a peek at his truest self, one that he typically guards from superficial curiosity. 9. He invites you into the realities of his everyday life. For many, the hallmark of a deeper relationship is found in routine moments rather than extraordinary events. When a man includes you in the tapestry of his day-to-day life, it's a testament to how he perceives your importance. This could be as simple as asking you to join him while he runs errands, introducing you to his regular lunch spot, or sharing the candid details of a hectic workday. These aren't grand, romantic gestures. Instead, they're subtle signals that he wants you woven into the fabric of his world. By welcoming you into these daily rhythms, he's revealing a desire for more than a superficial bond. He's effectively saying, "My life is better when you're part of it, even in the most unremarkable moments." Moreover, he's giving you a front-row seat to how he navigates the mundane stresses that arise, how he reacts to unexpected challenges or small pleasures. These insights are invaluable. They offer a glimpse into his true character, unvarnished by the polish of social expectations. If he's comfortable revealing the unglamorous corners of his day, It suggests he respects your judgment and feels safe showing a version of himself that isn't always perfect or poised. Number 10. He prioritizes transparent communication. Another critical sign that you hold a cherished place in his heart is when he actively embraces clarity over ambiguity. Rather than leaving things unsaid or letting misunderstandings fester, he chooses candidness, even if it involves uncomfortable truths. This transparency can manifest in how he explains a change in his mood, clarifies a boundary, or initiates honest discussions about where you both stand. Transparent communication might feel intense if you're accustomed to vague conversations or polite half-truths, yet it's an unmistakable indicator of respect. By being forthright, even when topics are difficult, he's showing his belief in your mutual ability to handle raw honesty. Essentially, he's offering you a more profound connection, one that thrives on open dialogue and mutual understanding, rather than placating illusions or polite avoidance. 11. He demonstrates consistency over time. Grand gestures can be thrilling in the moment, but consistency is the true barometer of genuine connection. If a man consistently shows up, whether you're riding a wave of success or wrestling with a personal struggle, it underscores that he values you for more than fleeting charm. He proves his dedication by following through on promises, maintaining regular check-ins, and offering reliable support when life gets messy. Consistency also includes emotional stability. When he's upset, he remains mindful of how his words affect you, avoiding the impulsive lash-outs that corrode trust. When he's elated, he shares the positivity without neglecting your emotional needs. This day-to-day reliability anchors the relationship in authenticity. It conveys that he's not just infatuated with an idealized version of you, but genuinely interested in building a life around who you really are, day in and day out. 12. He proactively makes long-term plans that involve you. When a man genuinely envisions you in his future, he does more than casually mention potential vacations or drop hints about someday scenarios. Instead, he takes tangible steps toward including you in his roadmap. Perhaps he's looking into a new apartment with space for the activities you both love. Or he's openly discussing the practicalities of joining finances or relocating for a career move. Whether these future plans are immediate or still in the blueprint stage, his willingness to engage you in the process is telling. It's a shift from me to we. He's no longer just daydreaming in isolation. He's not simply describing a hypothetical future, he's actively weaving you into the structure of his long-range vision. Granted, every relationship moves at a unique pace, and not all men wear their aspirations on their sleeve. Still, if you notice deliberate planning that reflects genuine consideration of your dreams, preferences, and comfort, it stands as a powerful declaration of how vital you've become in his life narrative. 13. He actively supports your personal growth. Falling in love can sometimes lead individuals to focus solely on their partner's contributions. What can you do for me? Yet a man who truly holds you in high regard flips that script. Instead of simply seeking your support, he becomes an advocate for your personal and professional evolution. This could mean cheering you on when you decide to start a side business, offering encouragement if you're pursuing a new hobby, or even stepping back to give you space when you need a moment to prioritize your own goals. His outlook is not threatened by your accomplishments. In fact, he finds genuine joy in them. This perspective underscores a fundamental truth. He values you as a multidimensional individual. He isn't looking to keep you confined to a narrowly defined role. Instead, he's eager to see you expand your horizons, challenge yourself, and grow into the fullest version of who you aim to be. When a man becomes an ally in your progress rather than a bystander or competitor, it signals a level of emotional investment that few other actions can match. Society often emphasizes flashy, show-stopping expressions of devotion. While those have their place, genuine love is revealed more frequently in the smaller, subtler signals. If he's letting you see his vulnerabilities, weaving you into his daily life, and honoring your growth alongside his own, it's likely you're someone who genuinely matters to him. At its core, each of these signs reflects a willingness to be real, to allow another person to witness the complicated, sometimes messy, always human heart that beats beneath the armor. By understanding these markers, you can better appreciate the moments that truly define intimacy, even if they arrive wrapped in understated packaging. These small acts, unspoken acknowledgments of connection, are the stepping stones of authentic partnership. The day he confidently hands you the key to his emotional treasure chest may not be accompanied by fireworks or a roaring crowd, but make no mistake, in his world, it's the loudest declaration you'll ever hear.